The Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 Lite was one of the most interesting tablets 2 years ago because it's a good mid-range tablet with S Pen that just more expensive devices had before. Now, Samsung released an upgraded version called the 2022 edition. Is it as exciting as its predecessor and a good buy at $349? I'm Angel from mynexttablet.com, and that's what you will learn in this review. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I'm reviewing almost every tablet that gets released, and among those are all the tablets from Samsung, including the newest editions. From the outside, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 Lite 2022 looks identical to its predecessor, but there are some changes on the inside. Instead of their own Exynos chipset, this time Samsung uses a Qualcomm Snapdragon 720G processor. It's supported by 4GB of RAM and 64 or 128GB of internal storage. As usual, you can get a version with LTE too. My benchmark comparison shows that in most cases the 2022 version is a bit more powerful than its predecessor, except for the Geekbench 5 compute test. Here the 2020 version is faster. But when placing other tablets into this comparison, the differences are minor. The Galaxy Tab A8 remains weaker, and competitors like the Xiaomi Pad 5 and Apple iPad 9 are much stronger. The S6 Lite is not a high-end gaming tablet because in this price range, the iPad 9 would be a much better choice for that. With that being said, you can play most games. That includes Fortnite, which runs quite well with the lowest graphics settings, just like with the predecessor. But when raising the graphics a bit, it stutters way too much. PUBG Mobile looks great and runs smoothly when setting the graphics to HD. You can't even select higher ones. Multitasking and the Samsung DeX desktop mode run well. You can watch YouTube and surf the web at the same time or write in Word without any trouble. However, with more demanding multitasking and when opening lots of apps and DeX, you can tell that it's quite a bit slower than premium devices like the Galaxy Tab S8. That's to be expected, of course. The display hasn't changed compared to 2 years ago. We get the same 10.4-inch LCD with a resolution of 2000 by 1200 pixels. Text and icons look sharp enough, but can't keep up with some competitors that are just a bit pricier. While the screen is fully laminated and quite bright, it's not as bright as the iPad 9. Viewing angles are wide and colors look good, much better than on the Galaxy Tab A7 and A8. You can watch Netflix and other streaming services in HD quality because it has a wideband level of L1. HDR is not supported. Even though the S6 Lite 2022 has 2 speakers only, the sound quality is better than the 4 speakers of the Galaxy Tab A8. However, it's not as good as on the S8. But overall, it's a decent entertainment tablet. As with its predecessor, the S Pen is included. You don't have to pay anything extra. And the pen works just as it did with its predecessor and most other S Pen tablets. I always love that all the S Pens are interchangeable. You can use the same pen from the S8 on the S6 Lite and the other way around, and that's fantastic. There are 2 differences, however. Since the stylus for the S7 and S8 has a built-in battery, you can use theirs as a remote in the camera app or PowerPoint. That's not possible on the S6 Lite. On a positive note, you never have to charge the S Pen here. It also looks like the stylus is not reacting as fast as on the S8. Writing can lag behind the pen a little bit, especially when drawing fast. But that's not because of the pen, but because of the 60Hz screen of the S6 Lite. The S8 has a faster 120Hz display. Still, the S Pen works very well and is the biggest highlight of this tablet. Together with the fantastic Samsung Notes app, it's well suited for students and in general if you want to write down handwritten notes. You can use Samsung Notes to annotate PDFs as well as for drawings and to convert handwriting into computer text. There are tons of other features for the pen. With the eye commands, you can quickly start a new note or take a screenshot and annotate it. With the new S Pen to Text feature, you can use handwriting in many normal text fields, similar to Apple's Scribble feature. The design is the same as its predecessor. We get a full metal body which feels quite high-end and much better built than the Galaxy Tab A8. It feels like a premium tablet, but some premium features like a fingerprint scanner are missing. It's 7mm thin and weighs 467 grams. On its sides, the tablet has a microSD card slot, a standard headphone jack, and a USB-C 2.0 port, so you cannot connect external monitors. The cameras have a resolution of 5 and 8 megapixels and are good enough for selfies, snapshots, and video chats, but yes, weaker than the S8 or iPad Pro of course. On its website, Samsung is selling two kinds of keyboard covers for the Galaxy Tab S6 Lite, which are not made by Samsung directly. One is connected using Bluetooth and the other one uses USB-C. I tried the USB-C one, which is made by itfit and is designed for Samsung. Functionally, it's a pretty good keyboard cover. The keyboard works great and I can comfortably type on it. And since it's connected using USB-C, you don't have to charge it separately. While the touchpad is small, it works and we have a large touchscreen anyways. So functionally, the keyboard cover is pretty good, but it feels very cheap. The whole cover and even the keyboard, the keys and the touchpad are made of a very cheap feeling hard plastic. Also, the USB-C connection is not as elegant as a dedicated keyboard connector would be. Let's get to its software. Out of the box, the 2022 edition of the Galaxy Tab S6 Lite is running Android 12 and on top sits Samsung's UI. Usually, they're releasing 2 or 3 big version updates for their tablets, so I'm expecting it to get Android 13 and 14 and maybe even Android 15. The 2020 edition was released with Android 10, so it's about to be at the end of its update cycle. Together with its new processor, future updates are the main reason why you would get the new edition instead of the 2020 version. Because the 2020 edition has gotten its update to Android 12 already, the software is identical at the moment. We get the standard Samsung interface with tons of features that we know from other tablets. I mentioned the great S Pen features already. I also think it's cool that the Samsung DeX desktop mode is supported. Usually we get it with pricier tablets only. Once you turn it on, you get a taskbar at the bottom and apps can be opened in free floating windows, just as on a desktop PC. That makes sense when using a mouse and keyboard like a keyboard cover. In my battery test, the Galaxy Tab S6 Lite 2022 got a runtime of 7.5 hours. For this, I'm always looping an HD YouTube video at maximum brightness. That's an average result. Is the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 Lite 2022 a good tablet? Yes it is. Just like its predecessor, we get a solid screen, the fantastic S Pen, good enough performance, up-to-date software and a premium feeling design. Sadly, the price hasn't changed and the tablet almost hasn't changed either, and it's costing the same $349. My explanation for that is inflation and the chip shortage. But it's for sure that the S6 Lite 2022 is not as unique as it used to be 2 years ago. If you're looking for a mid-range tablet with Android and S Pen and long software updates, it's almost your only choice. But with the Xiaomi Pad 5 you can get a much better tablet with a pen at a similar price, which most likely won't get as many updates however. There's one other competitor, so let's check out the alternatives in more detail. The most interesting competitor is the Apple iPad 9. Yes, including Apple Pencil it's pricier, but not that much. While it has an old design and the screen is not laminated, its performance is much better and will probably get longer updates. It's not Android, sure, but iPadOS is a fantastic tablet operating system. I mentioned the Xiaomi Pad 5 as an alternative already. It has a better screen and is more powerful, but probably won't get as many updates. Overall, Samsung software is more mature, but you can get the Xiaomi with an active pen too, which works well. If you don't need a pen, you can check out the Samsung Galaxy Tab A8. For simple tasks and as a media tablet, it's good enough and it's much cheaper at the same time. However, it's also weaker than the S6 Lite in almost all regards. Alright, that's been my review of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 Lite 2022 edition. I'm Angel from mynexttablet.com. If you have any questions, write them down below. Thanks for watching and see you next time.